Oh, people can hear us now, right?
Yep, we are live.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Bonjour.
Everybody ready?
Oh, yes.
Nope,
Ready.
nope, not ready.
Why?
Fix your beer.
Woo! Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome everybody to the Home Assistant Release Party 2023.9. This is an extra special release party because this month Home Assistant is 10 years old. So, yeah, that's quite a while. That's quite a long time. We're still going. We're not stopping anytime soon. But before we head into line of discuss the release today, let's just do a quick round of introductions. My name is Paul Schoutse. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Is it me or is the stream
That's
stuttering?
clockwise. Yeah, clockwise. So I go. So hi, I'm Madalena. I'm the product and design lead at Home Assistant.
Hello, my name is JLo. I'm the product manager of Home Assistant.
Yeah, product team.
Yay!
Hello, I'm Paul. I'm a software developer. I develop the UI of Home Assistant with Bram. And I also maintain the Mushroom project, a custom car project.
Hey, front end team.
Hey,
Hi, I'm Bram, and I work together with Paul on the front end of Home Assistant.
Nice. All right. So today, birthday release. However, it is a great release. It's not a super special release. We've done in the past. We used to try to align like our birthday with the release. We would either postpone the release and then like work our asses off. And basically, we've decided this year we are not going to do release-driven announcements. So we don't want to announce things on the same day that we do a release of Home Assistant because it's just too stressful. So instead, we're planning an extra event, which is going to be in 11 days. Is it 11? Yeah, on 11 days, on a Sunday, September 17, because that's our actual birthday. It's going to be the same time as this stream. It is not going to be live, but it is going to be awesome. It's going to include people across the whole 10 years of Home Assistant talking about it. We have some super special announcements that we're also going to talk about. And then all that cool stuff that we're planning for Home Assistant is coming in the October release. So the October release is going to be extra special with birthday goodies, but we're going to announce them in 11 days. However, today's release is also awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Also, I think the other thing is, in case people are like, where is Frank? Frank is on holiday. Yeah, well, a very well-deserved holiday. So you'll have to deal with us. Instead of like, we're replacing Frank with like 5 people
Yeah.
just to kind of make up for it.
Frank is in the chat.
He's in the chat. He's in the
The
chat.
chat.
There's notification, Frank.
Yeah, he's watching live from the Alps. There he is. Okay, good. So, yeah, where do we start? I'm just sharing your screen, bro. Maybe you can make it a little wider.
We
Well,
can.
As you can tell, there's a lot of people from the front end team and product team in this particular release. So as you can tell, a lot of features that we're going to talk to today is going to be very much user facing. So a lot of things to look at.
All right, where do we start? Do we start with the new releases, the new integrations? Or do you want to just go right on?
You want to go to the new integrations, to the end of the release notes?
I mean, basically, I wanted to start with the picture you had up front, but like,
Oh.
No, okay, let's just. Wow, you're just spoiling everything. No, it's fine.
Yeah, you're spoiling everything.
Oh, if you saw it.
Everybody read everything. Okay, so
It
the
was a
release is still
teaser.
building. You cannot hit update yet. We'll keep an eye on it during the release, and if it's ready, then we'll be like, yo, hit update. Until then, yeah, let's just scroll down and let's just start at the top, Bram. And let's skip the new. Well, we can look at the new integrations. Whatever. Just go down. It's fine.
First thing is very special. I think we should already talk about that.
First thing is pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it
a big
is.
one.
Well, there's hard work for the past couple of months, like
Yes.
the front end team as well as our design Matthias, which is watching here on YouTube. Hello.
Yeah.
So as you know, right, we have been um, redesigning some of the more info dialogues, which is like what it shows when you click on a particular card on your dashboard. So you can see more details of what's like your device or what that entity is doing. So previously we have updated the light switches. That can you do slider. We can do covers for your blinds and curtains, and yeah, and switches too, right, on and off. And now this is the next big thing. So in the previous releases, we made we made the controls a lot more touch friendly and usable for like people, everyone at the house, right? Not just the administrator, but the entire family and everyone in the house. So you can use it on the phone, you can use it on tablet. And for this particular redesign, we start to look more into our user research, right? Because there's that's something that we want to do more often. We want to make sure that our design is well informed. We are not just following what other competitors do. We want to do something that really makes sense for the community. And our community is a whole wide range of people with different skills. So we have people who are power users, and we are also have people who are in their families who are more like people who just want to make their home work properly. So when we look into this particular design, we realize that while for the switches, we very much emulate what a light switch looks like in a house. And for the climate controls, we are doing the same. We're looking at the mental model of how people control the thermostats in the house, which has been a dial, a circular shape for past many years now, right? In the very beginning, you have physical thermostat that was like powered by like a little mercury slider. Like if you slide it, then the mercury changes the current and like you can change the heat and like the cooling of the building. This is the digital version of that. We make sure that it works for touch mouse as well as keyboard this time, right? So if you scroll down a little bit, you can see that this is a control that you can do both heating and cooling at the same time. The large circles you can drag and drop with your fingers to change like how much you want to heat your house to or how much you want to cool your house to. And at the same time, if you want to fine tune the temperature, there are also the plus and minus button that you can click with your cursor. Or if you're like people who use a screen reader or like people who just want to use keyboard, you can also use the plus and minus keys to change the temperature as well.
So Paul, Paul, you build it. Do you want to give a demo
Yeah.
of it, like in action? Because
yeah, I have to find. I can do a demo on my production instance.
I have one, but it's 30 degrees in the house, so the target point is like all the way to the right.
I will see if I can share my screen to
yeah,
show
once you
it.
see the screen, I can push it in. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to show a demo is because the animations are super sweet.
Oh yes, like one of the things that is like, yeah, when it's static like that, it might not be immediately obvious what it really means. But once you start interacting with it, it is really intuitive. And that's what we found when we put this on Usability Hub and I tested with different users.
Yeah.
We actually fine-tuned this for many iterations. Matthias have like at least like I think a dozen of them on our Figma file. And this is the best one that we tested and came up with.
Paul left.
Yeah, I think he might have to restart Chrome if he hasn't shared a screen.
I have the demo environment if you want me to share, but
let's do that.
Oh yeah, I think Bram has.
Yeah,
Good.
you can see the small dot there, right? Is the current temperature, which is 25 degrees. And let's see what happens when you slide the blue slider around. You want the place cooler? Oh, so now if you push it past 23 degrees down to 19 degrees, the AC would turns up, right? And the highlighted area represents the temperature change that the machine is going to perform to change that temperature. So now it's going from current temperature 23 down to 19 degrees. Let's try moving the red up and moving the blue back up, and then move the blue up, and that the other way works as well. If we want to heat it up higher to 25 degrees, that's the heater is on, and the red part is highlighted now. And now you can see that it's going from 23 to 25. There's a very subtle glow at the bottom of like the target temperature too, which I think the screen share is a little saturated. You can't see it. But yeah, when you select the heating temperature is highlighted, and those plus and minus buttons are now orange. So when you push the plus and minus button, it changes the heating temperature.
I don't know if Paul can share the real one, because on this one we don't have the glow because we don't have the actions. It's a demo. It's a demo entity. But if Paul can share the real one, that would actually be, I think, better.
Yeah. I have to
Paul is
restart
gonna heat
my
his house
browser.
even more.
Yeah, if you click on the cooling temperature, it will turn into blue, right? Let's see, the 29 degrees. Oh, yep, it turns into blue. And now if you click plus and minus, it changes that.
Okay, Rob, I'm going to kick away your screen. We're going to Paul's.
All right, Paul.
Yeah.
This one has
screen. Yeah.
awesome tile cards too.
Yeah. It's my hot tube, so I can eat it because
Where to spot?
Yeah.
That's where he grows his mushrooms.
Yeah.
Mushroom card.
So here you can see the current temperature is 33, and if I put it to like 36, it will pass to heating to target. So you will see the action. And if I set it to like 31, it will go back to just target, but it's doing nothing. And you have the action is also visible on the tile card here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can
Yeah,
change mode at the bottom too.
Can you zoom in on the tile card a little bit? Because I don't think it's
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see that it's eating. Yeah.
The color is consistent.
And you can turn it on or off using this one.
Yeah. So this card, right, it works with your heating, your AC, your HVAC that does both heating and AC. It works with humidifiers, dehumidifiers.
Yeah.
Does it work with anything else? Oh, water heaters too. Even water heaters or spa.
Yeah.
Like Paul does.
Paul has
Yeah, the
everything.
water. Yeah, on my production. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can change like if you want a performance on or off, and you can switch to away mode for water heater. For thermostat, you can not this one.
Make sure you reset all those values if this is your production instance, right?
Yeah.
What's the color green? Is that like auto, right? Yeah.
And for preset, no, you have icon for preset. But if you have a custom preset, we don't have icon yet. But for most preset, it will work. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And you also support humidifier, but I don't have a humidifier in my house.
Nice.
You want to show humidifiers?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
You want to show humidifier, Bob? I think it all looks
Sure.
same, right?
Yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah.
Just blue. So that's the same controls, the same look.
Yeah. One thing that we definitely did this time around is like we really did test it with our users, and we really want to keep going this direction forward because, like, like I think a lot of times, like when the competitors, like I think Google and Apple, they all do a circular dials, but when they simplify things, they just take away too much stuff that people actually uses. But here we really want to get to know our users better, and we realize that like one of the people here is like they love the plus and minus signs, right? Because like we noticed that people like to fine tune like their temperature as well instead of dragging big strokes around.
I mean, dragging is just kind of annoying, right? Like if you're on your phone, there's a small movement with your finger already can mean a lot of step in the temperature change.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was the climate controls on the more info dialog cards. It was
Yeah.
very exciting. And thank you so much for the team for all the hard work on this again. Yay.
All right. Okay.
Another really cool UI thing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
mostly, yeah, it's a mushroom-like card. If you're familiar with mushroom, we try to bring many features from mushroom card to the tile card because it's mostly the same design, but with accessibility support for keyboard, for screen reader, which mushroom don't have because it's a custom card and I didn't spend more time on it. But
Paul, 1 second before we continue, because some people might not be familiar with tile cards, right? So if you use the default dashboard in Home Assistant right now, it is not using tile cards. It's still using our cards that have like entity cards that have multiple entities per card. Tile card is a different concept where each card consists only of a single entity, and it can either have just the name and its state, or you can have extra what we call features. And in this release, Paul has added a bunch of features, as you can see in the screen. And what is interesting is that if you want to use tile card today, you just have to take control of your dashboard. You can add all the entities the way you want, and you can have a beautiful dashboard like this yourself too.
It's I like what you said, Paul, because Paulus, sorry. When I discovered Mushroom, I shared with Paul that I was like a very proud user of Mushroom. Like my dashboard was like 100% Mushroom. And over the past few releases, I removed almost everything. Now we have like very like small bits and pieces of Mushroom in the dashboard of things that we don't yet support. Mostly like titles and subtitles and chips, but most of the cards now are native. It's super great because it looks better. There is actually one more feature on the tile compared to the mushroom card, which is the fact, like without even talking about features, if you press the tile card itself, it goes to the more info, but you can also click the icon itself and it does something. By default, it's a toggle, so you can, for example, toggle a switch or turn off or turn on your close or open your shade, for example. You can change that. So it's a double feature card in one card. So for example, mobile dashboard, it's super nice because you have like these very small cards with like a lot of features, a lot of different touch areas, more info in one click, toggle in one click, features in one click. And it's been amazing. Like now all my dashboard is like only one type of card. It's tile everywhere.
Yeah. Tile card is definitely slowly becoming the standards of our
Yeah.
dashboard.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely beautiful. Proud favorite.
Yeah. So sorry, Paul. That was a quick intermezzo.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
nice
now we have.
to introduce.
Wanted to make sure people had a good, solid understanding of what you're going to explain now.
Yeah. For the past release, we had 5 features for some entity, and this release introduced 7 new features. So we have now 12 features, I think, or 14. I don't know the right number, but there is some feature missing from Mushroom. We try to implement them, but we want the best possible support for every entity, and we don't want to add something breaking or something that will not fit most screen. It will be nice. It must be nice on mobile and desktop with touch control or something like that. Maybe I can show a demo to create like a dashboard really fast with
Let's
this.
go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's see how we can customize it. Features.
Yeah. Because I think people know how tile works, but I don't think people know that you can add features to tile.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, before you, 2 steps back, like, can you just go to a normal dashboard and then show how you get into edit mode? Just
Okay. Yeah. So the default one? I don't have a default.
Oh, this one is fine. This one is fine. I just wanted you to like.
This one is the default one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here you
This looks awful compared to the.
I see a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Okay.
why I don't use this one.
A lot of opportunities and a lot of potential solutions.
Yeah.
We can make a
Yeah.
trick.
So here you can click.
Yeah.
So here you can click on Edit Dashboard, and you can take control of it, and then you will have an empty dashboard. Oh,
Actually, you had to click on start with an empty dashboard to have an empty dashboard.
Yeah. So I can delete this one. Yeah. And then you can add multiple views. For example, demo. I can add more views, and then you can add every card you want. For example, I will create a grid card. So no, I will just create a tile card. It will be easier for most people. So you can select tile card, for example, and then you can select every entity you want. So for example, for my hot tube, I can select a climate entity. This one. And then you can customize the name. So tube. You can change the icon. And here you have a feature section, and you can add every feature you want. So for example, climate mode. So you can easily turn on and off using mode.
For your hot tub.
Yeah.
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 All
What is
right.
that mushroom
And you can
doing there?
adjust.
Yeah, what is mushroom button, Paul? There's something.
Oh yeah. I want to.
I don't have that on my
Yeah,
system.
this one. Yeah, this one is a custom one because feature support custom card. Developer can add custom feature, so it's in the developer doc. So every JavaScript developer can create, instead of creating a custom card, you can create a custom feature, and so it will be available here, and every user can use custom. So you can customize everything you want at the bottom of the tile card. It's a really advanced thing, but yeah, I will not show it for now. But
So features are depending of your domain. So if you choose an entity that doesn't have feature, you won't have. Like for example, if you choose like a sensor, or like I don't know, like if you choose a cover, then you will have different type of features.
Yeah. For example, for cover, these features are not compatible, so I can delete them, and I can add this feature for a garage door, for example.
And can you just open the action tab?
Yeah.
So this is what I was talking about. Like there is always 2 actions on every tile card, which makes the whole the card much more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to, Paul, just somebody's asking, can I do this in YAML? Can you click on the show code editor button?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So yeah, anything in Lovelace you can also do in YAML Gooser 3000.
Yeah. And it works well with other cards like a grid card, vertical card, horizontal stack. You can mix every card you want. Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
Can you? I don't know if it's because it has not been released. If it has not been released in this feature, but maybe you can also show the fact that for some features you can edit the number of buttons that are in the feature. Like for example, on a vacuum, like you can,
For a vacuum, for example, you can have command, and you can customize every command you want. For example, I don't want the clean spot, but I want the return on. So I have a stop, and return on button. And it's the same for climate. You can choose every mode you want on your dashboard. For example, if you don't care about auto mode and you only want heat and off, you can just set the mode you want. Yeah.
A nice thing about that, about the fact that you can change the button, is that if you have like a limited space on your dashboard and you want to have multiple buttons, you can create multiple lines and only, for example, 2 buttons per line. So you can make a grid of Paul is doing it. So you can say like on first line, I will have like start and stop, and on second line, I will have like locate and return home. And now you have like a nice grid of features that allows you to have like less things in your dashboard, which is pretty nice when you put them like in the horizontal cards, for example.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
So the next step is to have the default dashboard using this card.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are the features that we added? Did we didn't show them all? No, you didn't show the light one.
Oh yeah,
I can show you that
Okay.
as well.
Nice. So we have a mode for climate, water heater. We have target temperature for water heater and climate 2. We have before we had the button to open and close cover, and now you can control the position using a slider. The lawnmower have command too, like vacuum. We will present the lawnmower just before, I think. And you can control the color temperature of a light. Before it was only brightness, but now you can control color temperature too.
Oh, and speaking of lawnmower, we do lawnmowers now.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
exactly it.
nice introduction.
Exactly, nice introduction.
Nice segue to the next topic. Thank you, Paul,
Smooth.
for the presentation of the house.
It's like storytelling now. Storytelling in a release party.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lawnmowers now. So yeah, lawnmowers are like vacuum cleaners, but for your lawn, very much. So in Home Assistant, they look similar to vacuums, but they are new to Home Assistant.
That's nice because I was using my vacuum cleaner on my lawn, so now I can use that. It's going to be better.
Yeah, I think this works better.
Yeah.
Robots with razor blades controlled by MQTT.
Actually, Bram, I have a question. I don't know if we actually already support Lawnmower. I know that the integration is there and that MQTT supports it, but do we actually have devices that do we have
Support MQTT?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a bunch of devices that have MQTT support.
No, so my question was, do we actually have already Lawnmower, like real devices that we can integrate? Because I know the integration is there, but
multiple.
Cool.
Yeah.
There is
quite a few.
custom integration. There is custom integration for it.
Okay.
For now, they use vacuum entity for this, but they can migrate to the new entity. Yeah.
Cool.
I know there's something for Gardena. I don't know what it's called. Landroid, and that is Grass, Landscape, and Verax, and Works. That is supported, and I think some more. But Husqvarna is also one that is supported through MQTT. So there are some possibilities. Cool. And there will probably be more integrations in the future that will add lawnmower support. So that's cool.
Yeah. Now we can automate things like if it starts raining, you can call the lawnmower robot back into the house.
Yeah.
Or if you have uninvited guests, you can send the lawnmower.
It's like security camera detects an object. Yeah. Send the lawnmower.
I mean, it will definitely scare people.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. What else do we have?
Group previews.
Oh,
I like this one. This has been a long time in the making.
Should we do a live demo of this one?
Yes, this definitely live demo.
what does this do? But,
All right.
Helpers. So you can create groups in Home Assistant. You can create multiple groups of covers, binary sensors, events, fans, lights, logs, media players, sensors, switches. That's basically a combination of multiple entities combined in one entity. So you can see the state of multiple entity in one entity or control multiple entities through one entity. And if you create them, for example, if I create a sensor group, it can sometimes be difficult to know what the value of the sensor will eventually be. So you would have to submit and then open the sensor again, see if the value is what you want it to be, and stuff like that. So what we did is we added a live preview. So while you are configuring your group, it will. I don't have good sensors. It will show the result of the. I'm gonna quickly cheat.
I have good sensors if you want.
I'm just gonna cheat.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
oh yeah, so is that the average temperature or what
This
is
is the median.
the median?
The median of these two sensors. So if I go to minimum, I will see the minimum. That's 15.
Oh,
And if I go to maximum, that's 15.6. And the median is in between 15.3. So
yeah, the nice.
yeah, go ahead.
I think the nice thing is that it wasn't always clear what the impact of that drop down was, medium, minimum, maximum. Like it's right now you can actually see exactly what the value is going to be, and then you can better judge if that value is the value that you would like to know. So yeah, this is going to be really useful. And the preview feature is actually the foundation for it. Is going to be applicable for many other config flows, and so that's something that we're kind of looking into.
Yeah.
And maybe you can demo the event group. It's a new one, I think. That's right.
Yeah, that's also a new one, the event group. But I only have one event entity in this instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can now also group events, so that's pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
for people let's quickly recap what event entities are. So that's something from the last release where now any event that used to happen on a device used to be very hidden because it was just fired as an event, which was not something you could see in the UI. By adding event entities, we will now be we can visualize and see in the logbook when events fire for devices. And now with the event group, you can also group events in case you, for example, have 4 motion detections in the garden, then you want to group them together to have one motion detection for the whole garden, for example.
Yeah, or remote, and you want 2 remotes to do the same thing, then you can group the 2 buttons into one event.
Yeah,
exactly this.
Yeah, very nice.
Thanks, Frank.
If you have U, which I guess everyone, a lot of you have, U is now supporting events for all the buttons, the dimmers, the switches that you have on U. So you can do, for example, what Frank just said. If you have like a 2-way switch, one beginning of a corridor, one at the end of the corridor, you can create groups for like the 2 event for turn on, the 2 event for turn off, and you can do automation with this. So you have like twice as less automation than before.
Yeah, it will simplify automation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you make a new sensor from a group then? Well, that's actually the whole thing. When you use a sensor group, the output of that group is a new sensor, and it works like a sensor for anywhere else in Home Assistant. So it has a sensor domain. It looks, acts, smells, behaves fully like a sensor.
So there's the same thing for every domain. So a group of lights is a light, for example, and you can change every feature that is available on the child lights, I would say. So if one has brightness, you can change the brightness. Same thing for everything.
Yeah. And then if you change the brightness of all the lights in the group change.
Very nice.
All right.
Speaking of helpers, there's another helper in town too, which is template sensors. Right?
Hey,
Yeah.
You're spoiling.
Is
You
that
spoiled it.
you want to show it, Bram? I guess. So what this is since we started moving helpers to the UI and making it easy to create, one of the things that has been requested a lot has been, please add templates to the UI. However, when you look at the configuration of a template entity, you really, you can template every field.
Yeah.
If we would put that in the UI, we are basically creating a YAML editor, and like that's not helpful, right? And again, it's way too complicated for a lot of people. And basically, why don't you just write your things in YAML if you want to write YAML? So we found a way that is kind of halfway there that will allow you to write some templating. It currently works for binary sensor and for sensor. And the way it works is that the only thing we allow templating is the state. So this is something we actually, Frank had initially made it for Spook, his kind of like playground custom component. And we're like, you know what, this works in Home Assistant. So we adopted it. And so, this is how it looks. This is to make a new template sensor. And of course, it has a preview as well, just like a group, because it makes it easier to kind of reason what's going on. Your template will be rendered as well. So here you can see, like, we're writing a template. It's going to be an invalid template, or it's going to be like whatever. Like, whatever. When you're writing a template, it will just render it, and it will automatically update, right? Because it's a template entity. But instead of like templating unit of measurement or device class or state class, you can now pick all those options. So you can say, well, this is like going to be a temperature sensor. This is going to be in Celsius, for example.
And this is really handy, right? Previously, for those of us who like added templates in YAML, we have to go to the developer tools just to test out the YAMLs.
Yeah.
And now you can see the preview of the result right there at the bottom in the preview section.
And once the template sensor is created, that entity is just a normal entity, right? So for example, if you want to round it, instead of rounding it inside your template, you can actually just round the displayed unit as you can do for any sensor in Home Assistant. Or you can even convert between like different units because it's just a sensor in Home Assistant. So this temperature sensor, lots of decimals, nobody likes it. Well, maybe just want 2 or 1 decimal. And you can just select that in the entity settings. And boom, it's right there.
Yeah.
So,
and you can also you can click on template option on the settings.
Yeah.
If you want to edit it, you have the nice preview to edit a template.
Yeah. Okay. Look,
it's not only for creation; it's for edition too.
I'm a pretty big template guy. I think I have like 20 different like small templates between sensors and binary sensors. And when this came out in beta, I just challenged myself in trying to migrate them all. And I think I migrated like 17 of them out of the 20, and the 3 last one are like advanced stuff that I don't really care that much that they are on the UI, like templated attributes, things like this. But most of them were actually just templated state. So that's very nice.
Let's try to put a sensor in here, like sun.sun, and see what happened to the sensors.
It will not work now because we say its unit of measurement is.
Oh, you can use a climate temperature.
Complete of the
yeah,
just like the developer tools.
Yeah, no, the device class has to be not temperature. Then it's because then we allow like you can do text, right, like sun.
Nice.
But of course, The challenge here is that like normally the sun has a translated state, and because it's tied to the sun domain, your template domain will not have that translation.
And now it also shows that this template sensor is using the sun entity.
Yeah, that's actually a very nice
Yeah.
thing, because then you can quickly realize when is my state, my template entity going to update.
Yeah.
Right. This is awesome. I think everyone who loves editing them is gonna love this a lot.
Yeah,
And it works for binary sensor too.
yeah.
So you can template like everything you want.
For binary sensor, you don't have, of course, a unit of measurement and a state class, but you do have a device class. So yeah, you can make it a door. The door is open or not.
Nice.
Open, close.
Beautiful.
Nice. And there's more YAML things in this release, right? Besides the template helpers. There's actions for triggers, template.
Well, let's go back to the release notes.
Yeah, let's look at it.
Yeah.
So we had group, we had template sensors from the UI.
That was next.
There's a little more advanced template here,
Nice.
which you can do with a sensor group, by the way. So don't use templates for this.
That is true.
Awesome features. Now you can ditch developer tools with it.
All right, this one. Before we introduce this feature, I want to talk about why. And that is like we added service response values in the 2 releases ago, I think already.
Yep.
Yeah, July release, right?
That's
And
7.
since we added it to the July release, we realized that actually getting service response values inside your templates is hard. Like we introduced the Dolly image generation service in the last release, and our example was like, well, you create an automation, it calls a service response value, then it fires an event with that response, and then you have your trigger template entity listen to that event and then update. And we're all like, that's just not very efficient. We could do that better.
Yeah.
And so now what we've added is the trigger template entities can now have an action block. And the action block behaves exactly like you would expect from an automation action block. It's the same syntax, etc.
Nice.
The order of execution is the trigger fires, your action executes. At the end of the action, any variables that have exist at the end of your action will be made available to rendering your entities. So you can do, like this example is very basic. We just call a calendar list event, give me all the events. But you can do a lot of crazy stuff now, right? You could calculate stuff. I don't know.
You can add
conditions. Yeah, you can do all that stuff. You can add now to a trigger template entity, and then not only fill one, but it can actually render like many different entities, right? So you can connect. You can basically have like 5 sensors and 2 binary sensors all update based on the same action output.
So you can create like a full-blown automation inside the sensors now.
Yeah. I mean that's the longer term plan, is to kind of to align the syntax and features of automations with trigger template entities in a way. For example, like automations have a lot of features that currently trigger template entities do not have. Like for example, tracing. You want to know what went wrong, right? So that's, for example, not possible right now. We decided right now we just do the basics, and we'll just move with add some more features over time and not hold this back. Yeah.
Pretty powerful function.
Yes.
I can see a lot of possibilities with this.
This example actually is quite nice, like the one that you are showing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else can it do? Like calendar, can it do
You can ask every day
Oh.
to OpenAI to give you the brief of the day, and you can store it somewhere so that you can.
Yeah.
Or tell me a joke, and then you can store it in a sensor, and you can display it on
You
your
can make
dashboard
a
if you want.
day of the joke of the day sensor.
Joke of the
indeed,
day, joke of the day sensor.
Yeah.
Or you can ask DALI, we can create a picture of cats, like the cat API, but ours, and we generate them. We could generate a picture of a cat every day at midnight and cast them on the TV every day, for example.
Yep, and it doesn't need an automation. It can just done through a template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And does it work for every template entity or only binary? Does it work for
Only-
image entity?
Yeah, it works for all, but they all have to be triggered from a trigger, right? So if there's no, if there's
So
no
you can
trigger,
store the result of image generation, for example, in an image entity, and then you can do everything you want with this image.
correct. Yeah.
I really haven't thought about this one, but actually now that I think about it, yes, I think we could do a lot of things.
A lot you can do.
Still have to think about it, but yeah.
There's nothing you could not do before, but it's just way easier now.
Yeah, to do automation.
Yeah. Oh shit, Jaap has to reinstall the file editor again.
Yeah. Sorry, this is not available in the UI.
Yeah.
So Scott has an interesting question. Are there performance differences? There are no performance difference under the hood. We have all generalized the way actions run, whether it be a script, whether it's an automation, whether it's a trigger template entity. That's all the same kind of execution engine. So there's no performance difference.
But I still want to add something just for the question of Scott. I still think that there is a very big difference between a template sensor and an automation. Automation is supposed to do something. A template sensor is supposed to store something at the end. So I don't think that we should just ditch all automation to create template sensors that have triggers and action. But this is great because if you want to store something on a time-based pattern or based on the last snapshot of a camera based on when it detected someone, for example, there is no automation there. It's just I want that stored in my state machine. I want to have an entity that always store the last time my camera saw a person, for example. Well, the trigger will be a person detected, and then you can do that. Maybe you cannot do that. I don't know, but this is the idea. The idea is that one is to store something, one is to do something.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's another great feature for this release. This feature.
Madalena, do you want to do your segue? You just started it, I think, but then.
Oh yeah, I mean, this can help with calendar. Can it help with other things as well? Like weather. What can we do with that?
What a nice segue!
Oh wow! You are prepared like a cooking show. You already got prepared.
Yeah, so we have a new service that gives a response back, and it's the weather.getForecast service, or the getForecast weather service. So it allows you to get the weather forecast from a weather integration.
Yeah,
and that is a perfect use case for the previous template.
I think
action.
Yeah, and this is great because I want to just explain two kind of changes here. One is there's been people that are concerned about I'm currently using the forecast attribute and it's going away. Well, first of all, it's not going to go away.
We didn't get there yet.
No, we're not. That's not going to go away for at least 6 months, right? That's a deprecation period that we use now to remove features. But I want to talk about why we are moving from an attribute to a service response value.
Yep.
And the reason for that is that multiple ways. But at the beginning is that the state machine where we store the current state of entities. Well, a forecast is not a current state. So pure theoretically, right? It shouldn't be there. But because we didn't have another place for it in the past, we used to add there the forecast. But this came with issues because some people want to see a forecast hourly, some people want to see it every day. So now what ended up happening, there was only one forecast attribute. So each weather service would provide two entities, one that had the daily forecast, one of the hourly forecast. But all those entities, they were always kept up to date, which meant that we were now asking the weather service every 10 minutes, hey, what is the weather forecast? What is the weather forecast? And the result of this was that we were actually constantly asking the weather forecast from a weather service without the user maybe even using that weather forecast. So
we're wasting the
if you pay for API calls, all of a sudden we were doing a lot of more API calls that was necessary, and that's why like some of these entities will be disabled by default, and it was all kind of messy. But actually, the part that was like the worst thing here is that the state machine is something that is critical to Home Assistant's UI. It means that for you, when you open the app, we download the current state of your whole house because we don't know which page you're going to show and which entities are going to be needed on that page, which meant that we would always download the whole state machine, which would include all these forecasts for all these different, like, you know, the weather in your place, maybe the weather at your parents' place, and all these forecasts would just have to be loaded. And forecasts, they don't contain one data point like a current sensor does about now. What's the temperature now? No, it contains 20 temperatures, right? Like for the next like 24 hours or 20 hours. And so it will be a lot of data, and forecasts were basically slowing a lot of things down. And as Home Assistant grew bigger, people use Home Assistant more. We started to realize this and it started to show up on profiles, and we were like, this is not good. So this is one of the things that we're now putting in motion. Again, it will take at least another 6 months, but the goal is to remove the forecast from the state machine.
Yeah, and then we know that probably people like have built cards and set up that are depending on the weather attribute, right? But luckily was that we just announced the template, right? Actions in template, right? So what you can do is that you can create a template entity that is that we call the get forecast action, like in any interval you want. So like you can even like have it not get any weather forecast while nobody's at home, right? Or you can make it every 10 minutes or every hour, so you can conserve the amount of like the token limit that you have of that particular API call.
Before going to custom card, there is one thing that is very nice, is that this fetching the forecast only when the user needs is already baked in the default weather card. Yeah. So now if you add a weather card on the UI, then we are going to fetch the forecast that you want. So daily, twice daily or hourly. And if you go to the more info dialog, so if you click on the weather card, you are even going to be able to switch between forecasts. And we call them when you need to see them, more or less. So in terms of optimization and performance, this is much better because, for example, if you don't show if you don't want to display the weather, then we are not going to fetch the forecast for you. If you want to display it, then we are going to fetch the forecast for you. And if you want to do something much more advanced, using the forecast inside automation or creating custom cards, and this is what Madela said, you can actually create a template that fetch the forecast when you want. So either like daily, hourly, when a person leaves the house, when your cat is entering the cat litter, whatever, like you can just create any trigger you want and say, now I want to fetch the forecast. I want to fetch the forecast because I need it now. So it's much more efficient.
Yeah.
And before, if you want, for example, the daily and the hourly data, you have two entities, and now you have only one, and you can choose on the weather card on your dashboard which forecast do you want to see. You can select it in the weather card option. Yeah.
So we reduce the number of entities, we reduce the size of the state machine, we increase the speed. We only display information. We only fetch information when you want it. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of questions. Somebody's asking, was it going to be optional for people to use faster servers? The problem is not just the server, the problem is also all the front end. And so for us, we decided it's not going to be optional. It's just not going to be there, because making things optional means that we would still have 5 more entities again lingering around that people can enable and they wouldn't know why and things. That's not something we are considering.
Not only that, front end would also always have to consider both use cases, and we can never optimize our code, and it would just get a mess.
Oh, yeah. If you have an existing trigger based on weather data, now you would need to change it to be choosing when to update. So you can either say, I want to listen to when the weather entity changes its state. You want to then fetch the weather forecast and then act on it. Or you can say, I want to do it in hourly or these kind of things. Yeah.
Let's see.
So now you can decide when you want to update the forecast. Before it was done by the integration. Like if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. You cannot refresh every 5 minutes.
Yeah. The other thing is, will this be stored in the attribute when called? That's not the case, right? So you call it from the service. That's how you get it. It will not be stored in the state machine.
No.
Yeah, and then just to repeat, this is 6 months out, right? Like that, we are removing it from the state machine. So today, both options are available. In 6 months, we will drop the attribute.
Why are we not dropping it sooner? Because we want to give people the possibility to change their current entities and automations and templates to the new way and not break it.
Right. Well, this is like this has been the ADR decision, right? Every deprecation in Home Assistant now is going to have a 6-month period, which basically assumes on our end that, hey, if you update Home Assistant twice a year, you should be able to get all the warnings and be able to adjust accordingly.
There was one question from Christian that I already replied to the chat. I already said thanks, but I just want to make sure that everybody understood because I think it's important. The question was, do I need to do anything in 6 months just to get the forecast on my dashboard? And the answer is no. If you use the standard card, we fetch it for you whenever you need it. So whenever you see the card, we fetch it for you. You just need to do something if you are already today decoding the forecast for trigger in automation, for example, or if you are creating custom cards based on forecast. But if you are just using the weather to display the weather, then you don't need to do anything.
No.
Cool. Weather. So this is an example of how you can use the new service in a template sensor.
Yeah. Sir Goodenough is asking, when will the repair notice show up? We're unable to show repair notice because we do not know when you use this attribute, right? So this is something that's in the state machine. It's not a function that is called. So we'll be unable to show repair notice for this.
And we decided not to show a repair notice for everyone that has a weather because it's everyone.
Yeah.
So it would have been like a bad thing. Yeah. Onboarding. Yeah, so that's
this is your part.
Yeah, that's like this is that's something that we are not talking a lot, especially because well, we already onboarded once, like it's over for us. But I think it's nice that we are working on that. I just want to maybe talk a bit about why we are working on that before starting to explain you what we did, because I think that what we did is just the tip of the iceberg of something that is a bit more profound and it's going to maybe continue in the next releases. I hope so. We are starting let's say like a big effort to try to reduce the learning curve of Home Assistant, let's say. Home Assistant is a great product, but you need to understand it. It's almost like speaking a new language, learning something new that is very complex to grasp. And so what we did was trying to approach users that just started the journey, trying to understand a bit what are their struggles when they started to install or onboard Home Assistant. And this is just the first public realization of that big effort, which is a redesigned onboarding flow. Again, like that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is something that we want to continue. So yeah, that's like something big that we are pursuing, trying to make sure that people are onboarding to Home Assistant up until the value of Home Assistant actually. Like actually understanding like, wow, automation is great, dashboard are amazing, scripting is great, the smoothest way possible. And we are starting from the beginning, which is onboarding.
Yeah.
So today, like I just wanted to make this small like intro, because when you think about it, it's not a lot what we did today, but just think about this as like the first effort towards something much bigger. The onboarding has been completely redesigned from a UI standpoint. It's a bit more like in line with what you see once you finish the onboarding, and then we shortened it. We made it shorter. So we remove a few steps that we are actually able to compute ourselves. Mostly the advanced home parameters, your local, the time zone, and how you want to display the time and your currency and all of these things. We can actually infer them from the address. So we reduce a bit of amount of steps, and we just made it a bit cleaner. That's more or less what we did right now. I think that Bram is actually going to show it to you, and then we can exactly. Yes. So thank you. I don't know how. Oh, actually, Maverick. So I struggle to read your. But yeah, that's the goal, right? The goal is just to make sure that everybody can experience what we are experiencing, because we learned that tool over the last 10 years. Bram, do you want me to explain what is new, or should I let you do it?
Yeah, should we just dive in it?
Yeah. Can you zoom in a little, Bram, or is this
Zoom
or
in
is it,
even more?
I mean, I don't know. If people are watching on their phone, they can't read this. But
Oh yeah, and the nice animation at the
it's
back.
at 200% now.
Yeah.
So the one. Okay, let's start by the beginning. The onboarding flow was localized, but it was localized based on your browser language. So if you are like a weird guy like me, for example, that has the browser in English but that is actually French, you were not able to change the language, even if technically we had all the language. So now you can just change it on the fly. Also, like this is Bram that made me realize that, but it's nice. It's almost the first thing you see when you enter Home Assistant, and you can see the massive number of language that we support, which is pretty cool. Like as a first thing. So yes, all the features of this page were already there. We just moved them around, but there is nothing new. Restore from backup was there. It was hidden, and also a bit hideous. It was like a very small link. Now it's something a bit bigger.
A lot more visible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Should we create a smart home?
Shall we create? Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So first thing we need to do is create a user account.
Yeah.
Username, password.
One thing that we changed there, it's a very subtle. Actually, I like that it's subtle because you didn't see it. But like when Bram was typing the confirm password, Home Assistant didn't scream in your face saying like, "Hey, the password doesn't match," which was the case before actually. So now we debounced it and we just show you like after a few seconds like, "Hey, the password doesn't match," because it was like a very weird first experience. It's like, the password doesn't match. Yeah, I didn't start it. Well, okay, like small things, here and there.
Yeah. They found all nice. And this is from version.
That was already the last time, like I think, or maybe 2 releases ago, we show you the fact that now you can use OpenStreetMap services to fetch your address. So you basically have just to type less things, which is cool. If you use that service, we are able to compute everything we need. So we have like your local, your country, your time zone, your currency, everything. So the next page, if you knew the onboarding, was a bunch of options about what's your currency, what's your time zone, how do you want to display the time, what's your country. I think I'm missing a few, and now it's language, yeah,
metric system,
yeah.
unit system.
Unit system, yeah. And now when
metric,
next, it's just over because we have all of this. Analytics, we didn't change them. Maybe just a small point about that. I guess also maybe Paulus, you want to make a small point about that. This is like a very few data points that we are collecting in your consent, like this first thing that you see. Opt-in, so that we can make better decision about our product.
Yeah.
So because of this, I mean, thanks to this, we know which integrations are used the most. For example, we know how many installations are actually being installed in the world. We know also the type of installation, for example, Docker versus operating system. We take decision based on that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what is really cool about analytics, so that like, you know, we don't store where you live or something. That's not uploaded to us. We know the country where you are, and if in the United States, we know which state you are, and we keep track of like monthly active users, and we have just on analytics passed 250,000 active Home Assistant installations, which is a lot, and that's all thanks to all of you who are reporting in, and which is great. We use this data, right, to convince manufacturers to show, listen, we have like tens of thousands of users using your product. Make sure you support the Home Assistant project. Give us the documentation to your API. Don't break it. Keep it local.
Yeah, and as always, unlike pretty much any other software out there, we are opt-in only instead of opt-out. We don't turn these features on by default just to trick you into giving us data. Anyone like the 250,000 people who provided analytics, they click that intentionally so that they want to provide us the data so that we can make the product better. So
Paulus, I'm curious, do you have any estimate of the opt-in rate, more or less?
Yeah, we kind of estimate that 1 in 3 people opt in. So that actually, and then I always round it up. So I estimate around now 800,000.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 800,000 open home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well done, all of you.
Yeah.
The watchers.
Yes, and so Thomas brings up a very good point. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure you like this video, you subscribe to our channel, hit that bell to be notified of our next video, because especially in 11 days, when it's our anniversary, like, you don't want to miss that video. That's going to be really, really solid. Like, we've been already recording some shots today. That's why I'm a little bit tired, but like, it's going to be really, really cool.
That's true. Yeah, for those who are just joining in, mark your calendars. September 17th is the 10th anniversary celebration.
Yes.
Lots of great special guests and special surprise in store for all of you.
Yeah.
So please like and subscribe. I can't say that.
Exactly, yes. And I think that that's the end of the onboarding. Sorry, we redesigned the last screen of the onboarding. Bram, can you click on next? Yeah,
I'm approving the release. The release is almost done. The build is done. So.
that screen. It's the same screen, more or less. It was a bit messy because you were able to do many things from that screen. You were able to configure integration that we discovered inside the onboarding flow. Like, which, when you think about it, is either you know what you're doing, and so you're not onboarding for the first time, or you don't know what you're doing and you have no idea what's this. So we just simplified. It's just logo. That's what we discovered on your network. Okay, you have an Android TV and we discovered it. You have an Apple TV and we discovered it. You have a lot of TV, Bram. You have a Sony Bravia TV and we discovered it. And you can just click finish, because we are going to guide you through like setting up these things, which today we kind of do, but we don't really, and that's could be like the next step of this big journey, right? Which would be like making sure that once you reach the dashboard for the first time, you are not lost alone.
Yeah.
Very much
Yeah, because today you reach this and you're like, okay.
That's for next release. Then.
Yes.
Okay.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
So the release is live. If you are in Home Assistant OS, make sure you go to your settings, top right, check for updates, get the latest release. If you are using container, then whatever you use for container management, click pull latest, pull stable, whatever it is. Stable, I think it's called. And if you hit core, do pip install upgrade.
I don't see it, but maybe it's because it didn't reach France yet.
Oh yeah, the Docker is almost there.
Docker is not there yet,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
everything else is.
Well, Docker is not the best way to install it anyway.
Yeah, Home Assistant OS is the way
Yeah,
to go.
Assistant OS is the way to go.
Yeah.
And we have the first insight about that, actually, talking to a lot of new users that just installed Home Assistant. A lot of them are actually choosing the Docker way, and they are having a lot of problems, a lot of difficulties. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying that it's not really suited for like the new joiners. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the more difficult route.
Yeah. All right, Bram, can we switch back to the release notes? I think are we almost there?
Yeah, I think we're there.
Other noteworthy
Yeah.
changes. So the Enphase one, that's a big one because Enphase was broken with their firmware update like a couple of months ago. 7 people have worked on it tirelessly in the last month to make sure that it is working now again. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, new sharing device.
Yeah, hello.
Oh yeah, do the thumbs up. I mean, I guess we just hit the like, right? Yeah,
Hit the like button.
the like button. Yeah.
That's the way to go. Sorry for interrupting. But that was important.
Yeah. No, I think the one feature that I really like on this list is that if you change your password, you will now be asked to log out everywhere. So basically, we clear out all your existing sessions. Previously, if you would change your password, you would manually then have to also remove all the existing sessions. Now that can be done for you with a single click. Which generally, when you change your password, you want to like log out everywhere. So yeah, we're helping now with that. Another thing here, I mean, it's kind of mentioned around at the bottom. Local Bluetooth has been optimized. Bidraco has optimized a lot of stuff again, everywhere around Home Assistant. So a lot of stuff is a lot faster again. Yeah. What other highlights?
Or you can sort option for input select entity now.
The file and image uploads.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And,
Sweet.
what new integrations we got this?
Oh yeah, and then it's time for the new integrations, Bram. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Oh.
Con Edison, that's most.
Oh
No,
no, I don't want to show your favorite yet.
Okay.
What? Okay. No, the big one is lawnmowers, right? So, yeah, I think we already talked about it, but we now support the idea of a lawnmower. So now we're waiting for lawnmower integrations to come. Slager smart locks, nice.
Traffic cameras from Sweden, if you want to
Oh,
check
that's
the
nice.
Sweden traffic.
Coverlet simple home. That's like the home security system. I know what that is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like Italian.
nice.
Yeah. Smart sprinkler.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, comment.
Yeah, I don't think we should cheer for Con Ed, but
So yeah, the O-Power integration was launched last release. It allows for a lot of people in America, including California and now also New York, and a bunch of other places can now get their energy into the energy dashboard in Home Assistant by just logging into O-Power. So this is really, really cool. Comment is a bit more tricky because you need to also give it your 2FA secret. So you need to set up a new 2FA on your account and copy paste the QR code to make sure that you give that to Home Assistant so it can log in. But then once it's able to log in, you will be able to always get your latest energy usage data in Home Assistant. I mean, this is a big deal because I feel like the O-Power integration covers now like a lot of the West Coast, bunch of the East Coast, which are the most populous places of the United States. So I think that like probably like 50% of the United States is covered now.
yeah,
Nice.
definitely great with tracking energy costs and energy usage.
Yeah.
And Paulus, just for me that is in France that don't know a lot about that, that's cloud-based, right? This is just pulling data
Yes.
from...
Yeah.
Okay.
So O-Power is like a data backend that a lot of electricity companies use to provide their users with insights. So you get a stat like, oh, your house uses 20% more energy than the average household or something.
In France, we have I'm going to simplify it a bit, but we have, let's say, like an open electrical counter. Like you can plug things in, like it's your data. And so we have companies that are creating this dongle that you put literally on your electrical.
The Zigbee one.
Yeah, I mean every French one has the same because it's amazing. And it's Zigbee based, and you get all the data instantly. But you don't get what you get from O-Power, because I actually asked you last time. I was impressed by that. You don't get past data. I mean, you just start logging as soon as you put the thing inside. It's already pretty.
I think that, like, tracking it locally is always better, right?
Yeah.
Like O-Power could break or whatever, right? And the Zigbee one, like the Zigbee one for energy management always works a little bit weird, because it's you have to buy a device, provide the pairing code to your utility company, and they make a pairing request from their devices to your device, right? To provide that data. Which I always thought was a bit weird.
In France, it's really like there is a port inside the electrical counter on your home that is open.
Oh, you have a port. Okay,
yeah.
That's
so like you plug it in. But there is also cons about that. So for example, like it logs a lot of data, a lot of data. I have like if you don't filter it out, I have like 1 point every 10 seconds for intensity, power, tension, energy.
Oh,
so it's
1
like
point per 10 seconds. That in the Netherlands we just have 1 point per second.
There is even more things. There is like 15 indexes, different indexes for like peak power, off peak power, so many things. But when you dial it down, it's great. But it broke my Zigbee network once, for example.
That's the one in the Netherlands too, with the P1 port, which is really nice. Like that's how it should be, right? We should have local data.
Yeah, it's just a serial port on your electricity meter that is also coupled to your gas meter, and then you can just read it out. You just get updates every second.
You also have like gas meter that is somehow accessible in the Netherlands?
Yeah, it's linked to your electricity meter, and then through your electricity meter, you read out both.
That's my next project. I was talking to Paul about that like a few days ago. I want to track my gas consumption. I have no idea how to do that. Like in France, I have no clue. Like I guess it's going to be a hack with ESP Home, but I don't know. Like I want to try that. It's cool that you have something so accessible, so open.
Do you have a display on it, or a spinner, or anything?
Yeah, I have like a display. I think I also have the LED that is pulsating every turn, so I can do something.
There are a ESP Home project for this.
That's how I read my water meter. Like there's a spinning metal disc, so that's how I read how much water I use.
Yeah, but if people are interested in this kind of devices and setups, we have energy management documentation on the Home Assistant website, where we link to a bunch of different solutions for different countries. O-Power might not be linked, by the way, yet, but like the other ones we just mentioned for Europe are definitely linked there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the virtual integrations.
Yep.
All right.
That's it. We have breaking changes. A few. Nothing major, I think.
Well, people might have like quickly from Bram scanning over the breaking changes, seen that like HTTP server is there. The breaking change there is that by default, Home Assistant will no longer be embeddable in an iframe. If you want that, you have to use a new YAML option. Yeah, this will not impact most people.
And also maybe just because it's a big name that is there, can we explain ESP Home? Because I don't think it's impacting a lot, but there is ESP Home in the list, so.
I see.
Yeah, so this is something that like we've started on like 6 months ago, and basically we want to make sure that a device is based on the MAC address. So the device is a device, and ESP Home configuration that you install on a device is linked to the device. So if you install the same configuration on a new device, it used to previously like be able to cross-link it, and that's no longer possible. Yeah, so now this is aligned with the rest of Home Assistant.
And then for the weather integrations, it's all the deprecation of the forecast attribute.
Yeah.
This
That
is why we have a
already
lot of
talked about.
Yeah.
C-Wave requires you to update the add-on if you manage it manually. If you don't manage it manually, then it will be done automatically for you.
Yeah. For most people, this is done automatically, right? Like the Home Assistant add-on will just you install it as part of setting up Z-Wave, and then it will automatically update it for you as well when you update Home Assistant.
Yeah, and then we have 4 developer blocks that were added last month that if you are a developer, you could look at.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
That was fast.
That's great. Ah,
What? Any new gadgets?
any like Q&A or something?
Yeah, I'm looking at like.
I don't have my walkie-talkie, but I think people are sick of seeing it, so I will not show you my walkie-talkie. Someone asked in the chat if we were selling it, and the answer is no. There is only one of them.
No, there is 2.
There is two. There is 2 of them. Yes, one is still broken.
Yeah. No, yeah. For people that wanna like Year of the Voice, like when is the next Year of the Voice coming? We're cooking something. It's not at a quality level yet that we felt like sharing it yet. Like it's we wish it would move a little faster, but it's just the way it is. We just don't want to, like, the moment we announce a new chapter, we want to make sure that people can start using it, and that, like, even though we're still in the developer preview phase, that it is worth using. And at this point, it's not. Like, I mean, just for a start, the hardware that we're targeting, the S3 box, is completely sold out, and they just launched a new version. It's not in stock yet. So basically, if you do chapter 4 today, tell you to buy it, build something cool for a box, and then it wouldn't work, like, because you couldn't get one. So yeah, we don't have this box here. Yeah, I mean, we're obviously working on stuff. That's it's a pity that we haven't anything to share yet, but I hope soon. But after the birthday, so chapter 4 will not. We don't want to, like, remove, like, the attention for the birthday stream.
Yep, don't expect any Year of the Voice things on the birthday stream.
No. Yeah. Oh, this is Jesse actually mentioned this as well. For the ESP Home release this month, it's going to be interesting because Libre Tiny is coming to ESP Home next month. For the people that are not aware, this is for the diehard nerds, by the way. If you're, like, soldering and opening devices that you buy to update it with ESP Home, this is for you. This is like a Libre Tiny allows you to update a lot of Tuya devices that you buy and install ESP Home on the chips. So it's really cool, but it's also very technical. So it's a cool feature. So if you are into if you're into that stuff, definitely check out the next ESP Home release.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, Jesse even, like, correct me. You can actually update a lot of these 2-year devices without opening most of them.
That's cool. What are those AI webcams?
Oh yeah. All right. Are there any? We have more time. Like, are there any questions? Anyone? Any questions?
Oh yeah, Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see anyone in the comments that any teasers for September 17th.
Let's see. Any teasers? No, I don't think. No, I don't want to. Like, there's nothing that I want to, like, share. That's really.
Well, Yeah, it's going to be a birthday party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did we just? Oh, where's our?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a birthday party. It's a lot of celebration. Yeah.
Wait, where are the questions?
Yeah. Joost is asking, did I unpack all of my boxes yet? I just moved last month. I did not. That's why I'm sitting in front of a blank wall. So moving is maybe next month I will definitely unpack boxes. I hope my next time I join the release party next month I will be in office. Yeah. Okay, here's a good question. Can I update the firmware of a device that I've connected via the Home Assistant Matter integration? So Matter has built-in support for the protocol of Matter has built-in update support for firmware updates. As of now, many manufacturers have not provided firmware updates. So I think, and I'm probably going to bastardize it. I think Marcel just told me yesterday that Nanoleaf was one of the first that has now published firmware updates, so that controllers can do firmware updates. Home Assistant, as of now, does not support firmware updates yet. So we will, because it is centralized in Matter, which means it is any controller can do it. It's going to be really cool because I expect a lot of manufacturers to opt into this and provide their firmware updates. So it is coming to Home Assistant. I don't know when. Yeah. Paulus is always moving. That is, yes, but not
anymore.
Not anymore. No, I think. I expect to stay in Brooklyn for a very long time. So, yeah, no more moving.
There is a question for template UI if we want to set availability templating for sensor. The response is that when you use some helpers in template, you can set the default. So, for example, if an entity is unavailable, you can default to another value. So you don't need availability for most use case. Like, for example, if you have a template and you want to know which rain it will have today, and the weather forecast is not available, then you can default it to 0 or something like that. And you don't need availability for most use case, but you can do it in YAML.
It's actually a good practice to do that for all your templates, actually. If something is not available, plan for the worst, hope for the best, more or less. Like it's always a good practice. Even like for very small, like a simple templates. I have a template that checks like if a brightness of a light is above 50%, and then I just also say like if the brightness is not available, it's 0. And I did that just thinking like I would plan for the worst, but actually it's happening a lot because when the light is off, then there is no brightness anymore. So yeah, it's a good it's a good practice to do that anyway.
This is Gooser 3000. Noticed that like he is getting some updates available for his AOTech multi-sensors. AOTech is one of the latest companies to join our Z-Wave JS firmware update service, and so they have added like 20 devices or something. And so yeah, AOTech is providing firmware updates, so you should be able to see those pop up. Also, I think his older home assistant versions, I'm not sure if there's a requirement in the latest release, but this is this is cool. AOTech is in, so that's awesome. Yeah, Paul, somebody wants to know which camera you use that is tracking you.
It's my iPhone 13 Pro. So just mount on my on my screen.
Nothing
with a 3D printed mount. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because now when you have iPhone, you can link to your MacBook and use it as a webcam.
Scott is asking, any in-person Home Assistant conferences planned? No. It's not that we don't want to, it's just that it's a lot of work. And so generally we just don't end up doing it. We did it in the past, right? We've done it twice in the Netherlands. We did one in Frankfurt back in the days. But it's just a lot of work. So no, there's not going to be any home assistant conferences. I don't know, maybe some more local ones, but we really need to rely on local organizers. I don't know if it would be an officially endorsed one.
Yeah, anyone do want to do a local meetup or something?
That's true. Like we will gladly sponsor pizzas or something, or like if somebody organizes a meetup that is like local to a developer, maybe you can convince them to pop in and pop over, or hop in, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go stop by. But
Amsterdam, New York, always.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But no conferences planned.
No. Conferences are hard. Like, open call for talks, then you need to go through all the talks, then like...
at least you don't need to rent 7 buses.
Paul, we should do a meetup in France.
Yeah.
Yeah,
France is big, right? So like Paul lives close to Belgium. So like, are you going to do Paris? Are you going to like,
We're going to do a bus tour.
Brussels. Yeah. Yeah. Frank would like somebody to organize a local meeting in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll join.
There you go. Well, it's already 2 people join.
Yeah, if someone have a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. Feel free to help organize. It's a community effort. Let us know. Like, let everyone know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, right.
It's funny because someone asked which camera I use, and then my iPhone crashed like 2 minutes after the question. Maybe,
last time it was me. Now it's you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, unless we have some other gadgets or news to share, but I think a lot of things we're holding back for our birthday. So definitely just check it out in 11 days. Home Assistant birthday. It will be starting at the same time as release party today. We're going to reflect on our first 10 years, but we're also having some very cool announcements of stuff that is coming out, changing. So definitely tune in to the Home Assistant anniversary, because 10 years is a lot of time, and it's we're not stopping anytime soon.
I see we're going to have a meeting in the Netherlands. Bart is going to host this.
Okay.
Yeah, and also the Frenchies have taken over the chat, so I guess we will have something also in France.
Yeah.
Well, that's all settled, and the Docker build is up, so sounds like a good place to stop then.
Yep.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.
And then I hope you enjoy the release. Try and create as many templates as possible. Use those service response values. Build cool things with your tile cards. Share anything you build with your tile cards. Add Paul on Twitter. He loves to see it. And talk to everybody soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep.
See you next Home Assistant release.
Bye.
Oh,
See you.
last thing. If you like what we're doing, you should totally subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud.
Yep.
Like, it actually, forgot the most important plug. Now, if you like to support our work and like what we're doing, Home Assistant Cloud pays our salaries, pays our bills, which means that we can spend full time improving Home Assistant for all of you. So,
and it's super important for voice.
Yes,
it's not mandatory, but it's super important, and actually maybe one of the simplest way to go into voice.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.